Do a quick look ahead at the weather for the first couple of weeks of June. I did a video the other day where I said that it looks over westerlies were returning. That still looks to be the case, and we're going to have another look at the weather through to the first week or two of June, because it does look as though it's going to become increasingly unsettled and quite cool as well across many parts of the country. Now, these are the 500 millibar height anomaly charts that I'm starting with today, as I usually do with my videos. As you know by now, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, is the area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure develop, and then those high pressure, low pressure areas are moved around by the jet stream running above. So we've got the ECMWF here on the left, the GFS on the right, and as I say, these are the height anomaly charts for 8 to 10 days time for the British Isles, well, for the whole of the Northern Hemisphere actually, but we're specifically focusing on the British Isles. What we're looking at is a big trough here to the west of the UK. These deep blue colours here indicate the core of the trough, the core of the low pressure, but the whole of northwestern Europe really is covered by this deep trough, and the lines here are digging well south of the country. These are actually indicating a jet stream moving to the south of the country. So this is a very unsettled looking chart, a very cool chart as well, with the jet stream running to the south of the country. It would be quite wet and cool if that anomaly came off. Having a look at the GFS, well, it's very similar really. The core of the trough is actually a little bit closer to the country on the GFS anomaly. It's actually close to the west of Scotland, but the whole of the northwest of Europe again is under those blue colours, it's under the below average heights. So this would be really quite wet and unsettled going out to 8 to 10 days time. And again, these lines are digging to the south of the British Isles, indicating the jet stream is more or less running to the south of the country. Now, at this time of year, we should be starting to shove the jet stream off to the north, and we should be starting to set up high pressure underneath that jet stream. This is what happened through the latter part of May, actually, when we had the summery weather that we've just been experiencing. We shoved the jet stream north, we built high pressure underneath it. That's more typical of what would happen in a normal summer, but this is quite untypical really, to bring the jet stream down to the south of the country. Though, as I was saying in the video the other day, the European monsoon season does occur in June. We do see this quite regularly, that the Atlantic, the westerlies, comes back in June and gives us a spell of unsettled weather. It always varies from year to year how long this lasts. Sometimes it can just be a day or two, and that's always in the better summers, and sometimes it can go on all summer. The westerlies never stop. That happened, you'll remember, famously in 2007 when the heavens just opened and it didn't stop. It poured with rain all summer and there was terrible flooding. That is really what happened in 2007. The westerlies set in and they didn't stop. Now, having a look at the GFS ensembles, and we see that, well, we've got some big precipitation spikes here. This is for Manchester. These spikes here are all indicating precipitation. The first real bout of precipitation looks like it's going to be over the weekend. We could unfortunately have some quite wet weather this weekend, not very good for Jubilee celebrations. And then as we go out ahead after the weekend, well, those spikes continue, and it looks like a very unsettled period coming up. Big spikes there around the 6th, again around the 8th, again around the 10th and the 14th. Some real precipitation being forecast there by Boral. And this line up here is temperature, and we see that the temperature is going below normal over the weekend, so it is going to be a very cool and wet weekend in some parts of the country. Remember, temperature stage a bit of a recovery, but only up towards the seasonal normal. And of course, with these precipitation spikes going on, despite temperatures in the upper atmosphere being near normal, we'll probably be seeing below average temperatures in reality, because there'll be a lot of overcast days and it'll be raining. And there's no sign in these temperature spikes really of any above average temperatures in the foreseeable future, though maybe signs right at the very end towards the middle of the month that some of the runs here in this ensemble start to go a bit above average. But really, the temperature is looking like at or below average for the foreseeable future, with a lot of precipitation. Temperature anomalies for the next week, so this is taking us from today, the 31st of May, to the 7th of June. We can see here that the country is in the blue colour, so temperatures will be below average through the course of the week. And in fact, most of Europe, look at this big blue, extensive blue area across Europe, most of Europe is below average. Have to go down to south of France and Spain and Portugal to find the above average temperature anomalies in the next week. But really, the bulk of the continent is in for a cool spell of weather. In terms of precipitation, well, a lot of precipitation come in the next week. This is actually predicting, believe it or not, over 200% of the average precipitation across parts of Wales and southwestern England, and really the whole of England and Wales having quite a bit of rainfall there in the next week. Notice that it's England and Wales that gets the rain here. Scotland and Northern Ireland less so. Actually, Scotland and Northern Ireland near normal rainfall anomaly, and above below normal rainfall anomaly for the west of Scotland. This is indicating, I think, that we've got probably high pressure close to Iceland, and the jet stream digging southwards taking that rain across England and Wales in particular. It's an unsettled spell coming up for all of us. And then having a quick look at the charts to see how all these anomalies work out in terms of weather. Well, this is for a week's time, Thursday the 7th of June, and we've got low pressure really right over the top of the country, so that's a very showery, wet picture. We will be rain with that, and quite cool as well. The black line here is the jet stream, and that is running across the country. And as we go on to the next chart, 10 days out, Sunday the 10th of June, that jet stream is digging southwards. And notice the Azores High, that's what normally gives us our summer. As we push a jet stream northwards, the Azores High builds in behind it and brings us warm weather. That's pushed well out towards the Azores there. It's a long way away, not really able to influence our weather. So even beyond this, you would expect it to stay quite unsettled. Very similar picture, that's the GFS by the way, very similar picture here from the ECM. We've got the low pressure right over the top of the country for the 7th of June, and then as we go out to Sunday the 10th of June, we'll maybe bring a little bit of a transient ridge there into the far south of the country, but really we've got low pressure waiting in the wind area of low pressure there in the Atlantic, another one down towards the mid-Atlantic there. They're all going to get together, I think, and keep a very unsettled weather going. Again, the Azores High isn't looking particularly strong and isn't looking particularly able to influence our weather well to the south of the Azores and a long way away, not really able to influence the weather. And the Canadian model, very similar to the GEM. For 10 days time, Sunday the 10th of June, there's below pressure heading in off the Atlantic, and really there's no sign here of high pressure coming back in any meaningful sense. Well, maybe a bit of a transient ridge in the southeast, but nothing really indicates there that you would think is going to lead to a big build of pressure anytime soon. So I'm afraid it does look as though we are in for a very unsettled first half of June, and quite cool temperatures as well. Now this could go on in towards the middle of the month, maybe even beyond that. That's a long way off though, it could change, but certainly for the next week to 10 days, and that takes us up towards the 10th of June, and beyond, a few days beyond that, I think we can say the weather will be cool and unsettled. No sign of summer returning in the foreseeable future. That's it for now.